In today's video, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into energetic boundaries and emotional overload. Please stay to the end. I'm going to offer a guided meditation, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. So why is this relative? Right now, many people are feeling heightened emotional sensitivity. There is collective heaviness and blurred energetic lines. Empaths and spiritually aware individuals are absorbing more than they realize and mistaking it for their own truth. It's important to create clarity and a space where you can discern your own truth. Let's go ahead and dive in to look at some different facets of this. So emotional overwhelm is not always yours. This can come from not setting an intentional, safe, sacred space on a regular basis. It's just diving into things without pausing and being intentional with your space, setting that protection work that before you go in or out into the world. One way of setting safe, sacred space is just simply to set an intention. How do you intend to hold yourself? What do you intend to focus on? And practice mindfulness as you move through your day by connecting over and over again with that intention. That's a simple way to create safe, sacred space. And then remembering to pause and check in with yourself to notice when you have moved too far out of that space. From there, it's important to do your clearing work. By clearing work, I mean leave whatever environment you are in and go stand out in the sun. Go put some cold water on your face. Go take a walk. Step out of the situation long enough for you to reset your nervous system in order to feel yourself neutralize, stabilize, and come back into a place of balance and coherence. As you move throughout the day, there's some things to be mindful of. Personalizing. When you're listening to what people are saying or sharing with you, or you're moving around in your environment, notice when you're personalizing what people are saying. You're making it yours. You're taking that responsibility. Also, people pleasing. Where are you looking to just make people feel better or please them and make them happy? Where you might need to say no or set a boundary. When you notice that you are people pleasing or personalizing, those are one of those moments to be self-aware, to step back, to recorrect where you're at, to do a little clearing work, reconnect with your intention, and stop the behavior of people pleasing or personalizing. Boundaries are something that you create for yourself to protect your own energy, your own field. It helps you stay within your own structure a little bit more. So having loose boundaries, undefined boundaries, boundaries that are misaligned or being confused, thinking that a boundary is about something you're putting out to keep somebody away from you, is a misunderstanding around what a boundary actually is. A boundary can look like you recognizing that you are people pleasing, and it may mean that you are simply excusing yourself from the situation. Will you go reset yourself so that you can be more present to hold space for someone and what they are sharing with you in a way that doesn't involve you personalizing the situation? This work can be challenging because it asks of you to be self-aware and mindful as you move throughout your day. However, I trust that you've got this. You don't have to be perfect at it, but if you're watching this video, then I know you're a conscious, self-aware person who is interested in doing your own work. So this is something that you likely will look forward to doing through the day as you notice the places where you are stepping outside of yourself. These are opportunities to grow, to be a better version of yourself. Okay, let's look at the difference between compassion and over-identification. Compassion doesn't have to mean merging with someone or a circumstance. It's helpful with compassion to have boundaries, to have space, to allow space. In fact, if you are supporting or being with someone when they are having a challenging moment, the more that you can hold space for them, let them know that you are there with them and hear them, and you validate that what they're feeling is accurate without taking it on as your responsibility. The more you allow them to have their own experience, the more likely they're going to come through it with their own wisdom, their own healing. This isn't your responsibility to take on. And I know it's challenging because we care about people. So when they share something with us and we feel for them, we want to help them. It's important to ask someone what they need. Do they need to be heard or validated? Do they need to be held? Do they just need to talk? Do they need to be asked questions? Do they need advice? Sometimes we jump the space and start interjecting and affecting their experience by just going with whatever our reaction is to it. Whether we're comfortable with it or not, we're trying to affect or change their experience. We're kind of putting ourselves in a position of power by saying, let me help you. We're taking it personal, making it our responsibility to fix, help, or support someone, when we haven't even checked in with them to see what is it that they need in this moment. So compassion is being able to hold space without necessarily affecting someone else's experience, letting them have their experience, and checking in with them to see what it is that they need. When we over-identify with someone else's experience, we start to feel responsible for their experience. We disembody ourselves and begin to focus more on them as we're not really tuning in to our own experience. It puts us in a position of power, but it also disempowers us. We're giving our power away in the moment. And our power in that moment is to be able to hold mutual space by respecting that the other person's experience as they're having it is valid. And they may or may not have come to us for change. Not all of the time when someone is communicating something or sharing something with us, does that mean or imply that they are ready for advice or a shift. Maybe they don't want to feel better in that moment. And maybe the fastest way for them to get to feeling better is to let them go into the depth of what they're feeling just a little bit more. Of course, this is the point of compassion and boundaries and checking in with the self. Notice when you're having a fast reaction, hold, pause, reset, anchor into your attention, re-clear your field, ground in, and check in with the other person. This works both ways for you as well. If you are going through a challenge and you're going to open up to someone and share, let them know what you need. Do you need to be heard? Do you need to be validated? What is it you need? What is the reason that you are sharing what you are going to share with another person? As a consciously aware person who's choosing to be in integrity and truth, rather than just flinging your energy, your words out everywhere, pause, ground in, and be clear about what you're communicating and why and to whom. Remember, words have power. They are spells. When you speak them, be intentional with what you say. Consciously connect. They are energy, and you're sending that out. Let's look at some ways that you may be unconsciously self-sacrificing your energy. One of those is bypassing, focusing only on the positive and not being willing to look at the areas where you could make key changes, where you're engaging in repetitive habitual patterns and justifying those patterns for whatever reason you feel because you don't want to change them. Also, a common way is putting others on a pedestal or putting the self on a pedestal by believing that your choice, your way, is the way, and that another or others' way or thoughts or beliefs is somehow less than valid. They believe in green, you believe in blue. Blue is better than green, so your way is better than theirs. And it works both ways. Some people put their own perspective on a pedestal, and others put others on a pedestal. They diminish themselves and believe that what someone else is saying or doing is more justified or more knowledgeable or wise. Some things you could listen to yourself maybe say might be, I could do better, I could be better. Those are common ways of not giving yourself the credit for what you are doing. Of course, we can always do better or be better. If that's a common pattern, you could be self-sacrificing your energy by not giving yourself the credit for the work that you do, for how far you've come, for what you know. And it might be an area where you're putting someone else on a pedestal and comparing yourself to them, rather than recognizing that you too have wisdom, gifts, talent, purpose to be sharing in your space in whatever way that you express those gifts. So if you catch yourself bypassing, not wanting to acknowledge those key fundamental changes that you could make, you're doing some repetitive pattern over and over again and justifying it for whatever reason, again, those are opportunities to be self-aware, to stop and check in, to be honest with yourself, and to do the work to begin to prepare yourself to make the change. Sometimes we're not ready to make the change, and that's okay. And we can have some acceptance that we're at where we're at. Let's look at some ways to identify if your boundaries need adjusting or clarification. First, let's identify and just make clear that a boundary is what you set to protect your own field, your own energy. It's so that you can stay in your own space, knowing that we are all interconnected flow of energy, yet being able to recognize what is yours and what is another's is an important way to manage overwhelm when things get too heavy. So we can only handle what we can handle. We can only take on what we can take on. And sometimes we're digesting and absorbing things that are just not ours to be processing and managing. So when you're feeling tired and exhausted throughout the day, end of the day, you're finding yourself going to the phone to scroll, those can be signs that in some way you've had loose, undefined boundaries throughout the day. And that can spark an interest for you to go in and do a little self-reflection to look at, where was I people pleasing or personalizing or overworking or not taking breaks? Where was I going out of my own awareness in a way that caused my energy to deplete, that made me more available to take on others' things? What did I pick up through the day that was more than I could realistically carry? Self-reflection at the end of the day is a good way to go back over what you did, to rebalance, reconcile what was there, practice forgiveness, accept, set things down, get organized and clear about what you're going to do differently as you move through the next day. So if you can clear the space before you sleep, you'll sleep on a clear space and you'll wake up to a new opportunity to have that intention, to set that safe, sacred space, and to move through your day with more awareness, identifying all of those little moments where you start to go out of your lane, where you start to disembody, where you start to pick up tasks and thoughts and things and ideas that just aren't for your highest good. All of these are ways that you deplete your energy, take on too much, make yourself more weak and absorbent to what is not in alignment for your highest good. If you want to be a consciously aware, spiritually aligned presence that's working with your gifts and talents, then you got to learn to notice when you're fragmenting. You got to follow a practice that works. You got to know when you're in alignment and when you're not. And you got to be honest with yourself where you're going off track. This is personal work. No one can do this for you. And this comes from knowing yourself at deeper and more subtle ways and being really honest. Other people may not know when you are going out of your own alignment. Yet, if you're wanting to grow to that next version of yourself, if you're wanting to move beyond the space that you're in to that better version of yourself that you're saying that you want to be, then this is the work. When you're not doing this work, your energy field gets porous, your intuition gets distorted, your whole system gets clogged up, and everything gets just a little bit more dense and heavy and confusing and bogged down, especially in this noisy, loud environment that we are living in. So if you're not taking the time to clear the field, to set the sacred space, to get an intention to be in alignment, to organize your energy and reconcile those incongruencies, then it's going to be really hard for you to step into that next version of yourself. So this is one of those moments where there are opportunities to check in and be aware, to make a commitment to yourself, and to go a little bit deeper than where you've been, to know yourself and to take a few steps inward, further into your field, and to have even more raw honesty with yourself. When you embody yourself and ground in to that core truth within you with honesty, that's when you start to get clear. When you let go of all of those extraneous, fluffy truths, other people's issues, taking responsibility for what's not yours, when you set down all of that heaviness and you just say, you know what, no more. I'm just kind of done with it all. It's not serving me. The other person isn't making any changes. I'm just feeling heavy and weighted down from being responsible for everyone and everything else. When you do your clearing work and you keep clearing and clearing and clearing until eventually you feel clear. But if you've been taking on a lot for some time, it might take some work to clear yourself enough and to be mindful enough to notice the places where you continue to take on and pick things up. This is a practice of mindfulness, conscious awareness, of tuning in and being honest with yourself. Remember, sensitivity, your intuition, your gifts are not a weakness. It's like a refined instrument, but without boundaries, your field gets distorted and heavy. The goal is not to shut down your empathy, your intuition, your gifts. It's to hold your energy clearly so you can feel it deeply without losing yourself. All right, here are some simple action items that you can practice if you're not doing it already. I can't say it enough. Remember the pause. Before reacting, ask, is this mine? Reduce your exposure to emotional noise, news, social feeds, chaotic environments, Take some time to tune out, to turn everything off and get quiet. Also, place one hand on your heart and one on your abdomen to anchor in your awareness. Visualize your energy field as a contained space around your body. Make a connection with the space around you. And if you're not good with an energy, an unseen, unknown space, then just sit within your home, your room, wherever you feel safe, and identify the walls and structure of that space. It gives you something to work with. Also, this is a big one. Learn to practice saying, I need time to process before responding or committing. So I want to offer 2 potent journal questions here. First, where in your life are you overextending compassion at the expense of your own stability? And 2, what would you change if you trusted yourself? If you allowed yourself the time and space to check in and let go of what is not yours? Let's go ahead and dive into a short meditation. Before we do so though, I want to remind you to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Please comment and share with me what's resonating here. Maybe share some of your own practices and experiences around some of the things that I've talked with. Remember that we all have wisdom here, and I'm sure that you can offer a lot of insight here that other people watching this who maybe read the comments might find helpful to gain other perspectives than just mine. So thank you for watching. Let's go ahead and move into the meditation. I invite you to take a moment to get comfortable. It doesn't matter if you're sitting up, lying down, however you need to be comfortable. Just make sure that you're not driving. I invite you here in this moment to close your eyes, to know that you are in safe, sacred space. Allow yourself to fully arrive here now into your body, into your breath, as you notice your breath moving in and out through your nose. If your energy feels tense, you might breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, following the inhale and the exhale, and just allowing yourself to be in this moment with your breath. Maybe you're listening to the sound of your breath, or maybe you're noticing the quality of your energy and your awareness right now. If your mind is active, it's okay. Let whatever is present be present. There is nothing wrong or nothing that needs to be fixed here in this moment. Simply return to the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Now I invite you to notice all of the places you went today, the people you talked to, all of the thoughts, the ideas, and the things that you did today. Just allow them to come to the surface without grasping. See all of it as places where you put your energy and focus. Almost like you were setting parts of yourself down. All of the thoughts, all of the tasks, all of the ideas, all of the expectations. See it all scattered around throughout moments of the day. Notice everything you took on. And begin to imagine that you set down what you took on that wasn't yours, little by little. And as you set down what isn't yours, imagine that you begin to gather and organize and pick up all of what you did all of the people you talk to, all of the energy you put out. Imagine that you begin to gather it and bring it in towards you. So what is yours, you're reclaiming. What is not yours, you're setting down. And stay with this activity of gathering and reclaiming and pulling in what is yours and setting down what is not as you move through the different moments of the day. As all of the energy you put out starts to move back into you, as you become more whole and complete, imagine your energy gently returning from all directions back into your body, into your field. It's sealing up all of the holes. It's stabilizing. Inhale and exhale, visualizing a soft, luminous boundary forming around you. It's not a wall, it's permeable. It's something you can consciously regulate, yet it is a protective layer that you can put around you, like a second skin. And then repeat silently, I call into me all parts of my energy. I call all of me home into myself. I am safe, I am whole and complete. Stay with this until your body feels settled and soothed. There is no need to rush this experience. Work with the breath and keep repeating the process until you feel that sense of embodiment, grounded embodiment within your own field, safe, complete, and whole. And you can stay within this process until you have a somatic, visceral sense. We'll take a few more breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. And then inhaling, beginning to come back into this moment as you feel yourself in your body, in the room and the space that you're in. And you open your eyes and recognize that you are here now, connected, complete, and whole, aware, right here with me. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video. And again, please remember to like and subscribe. I appreciate you. May this have been a helpful video. I wish you well in your practice, and I'll see you soon. Take good care of yourself. Thank you.